Zozi the Bee Saves the World by Victoria Adler Sharon. Dedicated to my dear husband Nissim, our children Zohar, Ziv, and Hila, our sons-in-law Oren and David, I love you to the moon and back. It was the end of summer, and there was great commotion in the beehive at the botanical garden. Zozi, the queen of the hive, fluttered her wings, shook her belly in dance at the sunbeams, and hummed sadly to Mervy, her friend, the queen from the neighboring hive. I am very worried, Mervy. A terrible illness has infected our hive. It's having a terrible effect on us, and soon we will no longer be able to perform our most important role, transferring pollen from flower to flower to make food. Mervy asked, "What can a small bee like you do?" Zozi thought for a moment and answered, "I heard that there is a special species of the Field Eryngo flower. It grows on a planet somewhere out in space and has a special nectar which can cure the disease. I will fly out with my swarm of bees to bring this flower back to Earth." Mervy the queen felt threatened, and she was so angry she wanted to sting anyone who came her way, but she restrained herself and hummed, "I will stay here, and together with my worker bees, I will pollinate the flowers." She immediately flew to her male drones to ask for their support. Their huge eyes touched one another in wonder, but they immediately replied, "You are our queen. We will help with whatever you ask." Meanwhile, in the neighboring hive, Queen Zozi gathered her worker bees and assigned their tasks. The young worker bees cleaned and organized the hive for the flight. The wise worker bees fluttered their wings to balance cold and heat. The organized worker bees prepared a special compartment for the Field Eryngo flower. And the caring worker bees fed Queen Zozi with royal jelly to strengthen her. They were all prepared to do their part. The preparations were complete, and Queen Zozi's heart pounded wildly. She waved farewell to her good friend Mervy, pushed the beehive spacecraft launch lever, and began the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. She quickly pushed the green button, and the beehive took off into space. The curious bees gazed down at the earth and watched it shrink into a tiny blue marble. Their journey to Mercury was very short. Hovering slightly over the planet, the spacecraft landed in a crater surrounded by rocks to the cheers of the worker bees. "No one will believe we made it all this way," they buzzed excitedly. Near the bright spacecraft door, the traveler's god hovered, his cape fluttering in the wind, his feet in winged sandals. Zozi asked him, "Is His Honor familiar with a special Field Eryngo flower? Its nectar can save the bees." "I am sorry, I know no such flowers," replied the god of travelers, "but I can bless you with my wand so that you will have a successful journey." The spacecraft continued on its way. The dot of light known as planet Venus shone at it. Zozi lowered the spaceship to a plain surrounded by mountains shaped like seashells. The worker bees peeked outside and saw the goddess of love and beauty hover towards them, surrounded by a royal entourage. Zozi buzzed at her with great hope. "Does Her Excellence know of the special species of the Field Eryngo flower? Its nectar can save the bees." "I am sorry, I know nothing of it," replied the goddess, "but I can give you a warm and loving hug." The goddess in love and beauty leaned down towards little Zozi and gave her 243 hugs. "We can't lose hope," Zozi buzzed and sped towards the planet Mars. As soon as the spacecraft neared Mars, Zozi noted the grim god of war charging at them out of a cloud of red sand. It spat fire in every direction. Zozi was very frightened. She pressed the reverse direction button, ordered the worker bees to hold on tight, and fled away. She whispered to herself in wonder, "Is this the planet known as Earth's little brother? How very odd." The spacecraft approached the great stars. Suddenly, it seemed to Zozi that she was dreaming the most wonderful dream. Around the spacecraft, the naughty brothers Az, Tero, and Id, known as the asteroids, were scattering glorious fireworks in every direction made of leftover stardust. The enchanted worker bees clung to the windows and even asked to go out and join the fun. Zozi turned at them and said, "Dear worker bees, do not forget why we flew off to space. We have an important mission to complete. Let us advance quickly towards the planet Jupiter, which lies beyond the fireworks." The worker bees obeyed and lowered their heads, and after a few light seconds, they saw planet Jupiter from up close, its dozens of moons splashing hailstones on the spacecraft walls. The worker bees were very frightened, and only when Queen Zozi landed the ship on a brilliant white ice layer did they calm down. Jupiter, king of the gods, appeared from the lightning, accompanied by thunder soldiers, and shook the spacecraft with his thunderbolts. Zozi whispered, "Does His Honor know of the special species of the Field Eryngo flower? Its nectar can save the bees."
"Yes, I do know of it,"
boomed the king of the gods.
"Cross the waves of sound, and there you will find your answer."
Who would have believed that all of these planets truly exist? Zozi thought to herself, and drew near to planet Saturn, surrounded by glorious rings. As soon as the spacecraft landed, the tall god of time immediately passed through the portal into the ship. Zozi asked, "Does His Excellence know of the special species of the Field Eryngo flower? Its nectar can save the bees." "You must hurry, for you are running out of time," replied the god of time. With great concern, Zozi continued her journey to the planet Uranus. Unlike the other planets, it rotated on its axis at a different direction. Perhaps it was confused? All the worker bees laughed out loud. The spacecraft slowly landed. The god of creation suddenly appeared out of the soft metal layer surrounded by a thick coat of ice and told Zozi, "I heard your question through the light waves. You are headed in the right direction. The special species of the Field Eryngo flower has just sprouted." Suddenly, out of nowhere, a water jet splattered the bright spacecraft door. Out of the rain clouds appeared the god of the sea, ruler of planet Neptune. Zozi asked hopefully, "Does His Honor know of the Field Eryngo flower? Its nectar can save the bees." To her surprise, the god of the sea looked at her and said, "Indeed, the special species of this flower grows here, on my planet. Here, take it and hurry home." He immediately vanished into the clouds. The worker bees were all very excited, and tears of joy poured from their eyes. Zozi hugged them and pressed the green button. On the way back to planet Earth, Zozi was extremely pleased with how she had accomplished her mission. As soon as she landed in the botanical garden, her good friend Murphy warmly embraced her, and with her worker bees, she broke out in dance to the sound of the buzzing song of the male bees. Far, far away in the solar system, a distant voice whispered, "Even a single tiny bee can make a big difference."